Hi guys, so I was kind of debating all day or all morning since yesterday really, what should I do on Friday for Freeform Friday? And I was gonna do maybe some stenciling and I had all these different ideas, but I totally forgot because I put this in the box next to me so I would, it's behind my desk, so that I would use these soon. I should use these things. So this is the Crafter's Companion Gemini, and I guess Gemini because Gemini brand or whatever they do, birthday month stamps, right? And I showed it to you guys and I was on the fence because I know it's an expense, and actually I just watched the original demo, and even Sarah's like, I know it's an expense, or like it's an investment is what she said, which is interesting because and supposedly adding the folder and things made it a better value, I suppose, in our eyes, right? So I do have links for it in the description box. All the links I would normally have are affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. I'm looking at it, and like I said, they're photopolymer, which is great. There's 12 of them, and again, this is birthday month, so I was like, what do I want to start with if I do this today? Because the whole point of Freeform Friday was to get a little more artsy, maybe do something that you normally wouldn't. So I'm like, should I watercolor these? And I'm like, I'm scared of that, but for that reason, I should do that, but we will see what I end up doing. So then I thought, January just passed, and then February just started. I don't know if I'm going to do both of these today. I might. But we do need to do January and February, don't we? So for sure I'll try out January. And this is the one, to be honest, that I'm the most afraid of coloring, just because I don't know. It looks tight, like the areas, the spaces, and how we're going to color it. But what I'm going to do is try and watercolor it. So I am going to use watercolor paper. A lot of times when it's something small and simple, I'll just use some mixed media paper, like the thick Crafter's Companion stamping paper. Not that it's a really mixed media paper, but it is thicker. And, you can color on it pretty easily. The water does sit on top of the paper, though. I've noticed it does take a little while for it to seep in and do stuff, so you kind of want to think about that. The other thing I've noticed about that paper recently, and their stamping card, it's basically called stamping card or super thick paper, is that if you use it for a project, like I used it the other day for my art impressions, Fabulous, the little lady, she kind of jumps out with her arms, with the pop out. And after a while, like in the creases, it starts coming apart, the paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, okay, this is creased and the paper is fine, but that paper starts like fraying in here because it's different layers, I guess, which is kind of a pain. I've noticed that recently more than I've ever noticed it, but I guess because I'm using it more for fun ways instead of just, sticking it down on a piece of paper, matting and layering it. So just to know that if you're using that paper for things that are going to be folded a lot or something like that, just be very careful because it does start like coming apart at the fibers. It's odd. So having said that, let's open this puppy up. Again, this is the one I'm most afraid of. I'm going to grab my watercolors. I have tons of different brands of watercolors. I'll just pick one. We'll try it out. And of course it has the dies, and then it has all these pretty things. It has a little like tag or label, which I think is really pretty. I love that. It does say January, it does say Carnation. I was wondering about that. I was like, do they have the genus, not genus, but at least the name of the flower? I think that'd be really cute. And it does, so that's cool. I kind of like what they did there in the image, but anyway, so I am going to grab some watercolor paper. All watercolor paper is not created equal. I'm just going to grab whatever I have. I know there's some with Crafter's Companion that I like better than others, but I don't remember what that is right now because it's been a while. So actually, I would say I'm looking right now at a set of 24 cards that are just watercolor cards. So you would stamp it and color it on that card, which is not what I wanted to do today. I wanted to layer it up. So maybe another day. But you can always do just a note card, right? You stamp it and do your little painting, and it's pretty and good to go. Now, I think I am stalling. I'll be right back. So I think obviously the first thing we're gonna do is stamp this. I did find this pack of watercolor card, 300 GSM. It's Crafter's Companion. I don't remember this. This is one of the ones that I like. It's been a while. It looks very cotton and not very smooth, which is fine because I do want it to look more artsy, more watercolor. One side is a little bit smoother than the other. I'm gonna leave it on the rough side though, I don't mind. And I'm just gonna stamp that. I'm gonna put this behind here because we'll see what happens. If I don't stamp it right, then I guess we're gonna use the other side. So that's fine. Again, photopolymer. This one smells like coffee to me. And a lot of times I like to smell them. Sometimes they smell like coconut. Some companies. I'm gonna put this a little bit sideways because it's a big stamp. We're gonna cut this out anyway, so I don't really care how it's positioned on my paper. But I do want to reserve some paper, and then of course if we're gonna cut it out, I have to leave room for something like that if I'm gonna die cut it. I don't, oh there it is. I was like, where did I put my squid ink? So right now, Spellbinders also has a big sale on Jane Davenport stuff. I haven't seen their black squid ink in stock in a while. So they have different colors, but not the black. So hopefully, I haven't checked today, but maybe it'll be there. I don't know. Again, it's a hybrid ink. You can use it with water-based things, watercolor, and or alcohol ink, which is really nice because what I like about that is that, let's say like the other day, oh, maybe it's a lunch video, maybe I already let it go, I don't remember. I did some stamping and then I decided, oh, I needed to add more water, and it won't smear because if you use water, if you use alcohol inks, it's fine. So that's really good. Oh my gosh, this is scary because it's so big. I should have used probably a precision press. I can see there's a bubble right in the center there, so hopefully it'll still stamp it. Ooh, not bad. Very fine detail on this. That's what I'm afraid of. But we're going to do it, guys. We're going to do it, hopefully. I don't think I'm going to do anything else extra other than stamping the little buckle. And that I can just use on regular paper anyway, so I'm going to leave that. I always let it set up for a minute. I don't really know if this needs to set up, but I always pretty much leave it to do that. And I'll be right back. Swatching a few of the colors on here that I haven't swatched before. This is the Jane Davenport Brights, which is like the palette I keep going to, because look at this. How can you not? This is Fairy Tale, and this is Frida, which is a cute name. Frida is gorgeous. I was going to do like a pink flower, but this is the other thing, carnations, if you really look at them. Some are the kind that they dye them so that they bleach up the color, or they're just made however, you know, whatever florists do. And then some that are naturally super pretty, and some of them start with a white kind of base down here and then they get darker at the tips, or some are darker at the base and then lighter at the tips. I don't know how I want to play this one out. Also, I want to use the palette part of it, and I should probably clean that up a little bit, because I want to lay down some water in here. I think I'm going to use the Frida color. It's so pretty. And I don't normally do this, but I want to put water down first. And that's a little bit scary. So what I'm going to do is work in sections that aren't near each other, and sections that are kind of, let's start with this bigger guy, just so that when I get down here, maybe I have some practice. So I'm going to put down some water. And again, I'm using a water brush. It has control, but a little bit less. Yeah, hopefully you see I'm just putting the water on this outer edge here. Oh, I'm going to come in with Frida, supposedly, and just put her down there. I'm going to put her at the tips. And I don't think I put enough water, but you see how it's kind of traveling down the channels because the water pulls it that way. Oopsie. I moved my arm and I kept it there and I did that, but we can get rid of that. Not too difficult to do. Okay, so I did water in that whole section and just let this kind of pull in. I need more water. So I was trying to say about a water brush, sometimes they want to do their own thing. So if you don't like that, then I would just use a little brush dipped in water, obviously. I'm trying to get this up to the tip here. And the other thing that's nice about watercolor is, if it's too dark or you're not quite liking it, you can suck a little bit of that back up. Okay, so I am going to put a little more color back in that, though. I didn't really want to suck away too much color. And then as you let it dry, you come back and add more color and it'll build on top of itself. Now I'm going to leave that section right next to it alone because it looks like another set of petals. I'm going to do a section over here. And again, I don't want to squeeze my water brush because it'll just squeeze tons of water out. So I'm just dipping over here, getting some clean water, putting it here. And then I'll come in and get some of that red. A little bit more. So hopefully you can see what I'm trying to do is do the darker tips and then lighter as it comes in. And I'll pull some of that color down. Okay, and I'm gonna leave that section alone for a little bit, and I guess I'll go like in here. Doing this part here. And again, I'll try not to forget that I'm starting at the tips being darkest and the base being lighter. Looks pretty good. And that's what I'll do. I'll just go around different sections that are not super close to each other so we don't get the colors mixing too much. I do hear that my kids are up now, which is not too ideal, but so that's that little section. And then I'll let like this section dry and I'll come in and do the same thing here. So we're going to try it, you know, this is not, you know, and also little tip here, and this is not typical because sometimes it'll move your water, but if you want to just come in here and hit it with the heat tool, it will dry faster, obviously. And then you can start moving on again, you know? Let me show you what I mean here. See that water? It's starting to move because I'm heat drying it, but, you know, whatever you want. So now I can get some more water and do this bottom one. So you don't have to be at the mercy of the, you know, whatever's... Ooh, look at that blue. I told you there was blue on my little mat here. Let me get that out of there so much. There we go. It's a little better. And again, adding that deeper red. This is a very small water brush. And if you need to turn your paper, you know, whatever is it you need to do to make it more comfortable as you're coloring. I'm just leaving it here. It is very weird doing a white center because I want to like pull more color in there. Not white, but just lighter. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going around, and like this area here next to this looks like it's ready. Squeeze some water out. Making sure I put, and that's wet on wet basically. So it's wet, and then I'm coming in with the color. I'm not the best at this, but you know, like I said, we're supposed to be trying things that we're not super comfortable with. And I hear the kids. Okay. That's still a little bit too much color, so I'm going to take it and just put water. And I'm just trying to follow these little areas here. So my only fear whenever I'm coloring stuff like this is that you don't want it to look like just like a blob, right? You want the shading and the coloring. So, you know, you have to work at that. But I am probably going to put a little more in here because I think that's the base of... You can also just dilute your water. Sorry if that looks kind of crazy over there because of the lighting. Ugh, let me try and move that away. So I just want water, and I just want to bring some in here because I can see that's too light. Okay. And that is literally all I'm going to do. Just put the darker color at the tips after I put the water in. Oops, I dropped water up here somehow. Then drag it down into the lighter area, leaving spaces so that you're not just water, 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 and then everything's going to start going into each other. Like I said, hit it with your heat tool, whatever it is that you got to do. On the green parts, that I'm going to take it a little bit easier because it's not as scary. Look at the water's red coming out of my brush. Let me clean that up. I'll put just a little water from this. Again, it's red because my brush sucked it up. And I'll get some green paint and just let that do its thing. I'm not even going to clean that off. I'll drop into this blue-green here and just add some at the base where it's going to be darker. Okay, stuff like that. And then I'll just follow this line down. I'll be back. So I think I'm almost there. I'm going to get some of this pink that's just like a little bit of water. Kind of come in wherever it's just too much white, you know, just to bring something in. This one was the hardest to do, this bud right here, because everything's just so together, it's hard to tell, like, okay, what are we doing here? Add a little color there. Oh my gosh, you guys, I went to pick up my glasses yesterday, yay, and I got home, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't believe it. As soon as I got in my truck, I have a Toyota Tundra, and I look down, you know, I'm just looking, and I can see that my emblem is all scratched up, which I've never noticed before because my eyes were really bad. I mean, now that I see how I should have been seeing probably for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Definitely 4 years. I just thought it was funny because I was like, what? It's all scratched away and stuff. I get home and, you know, the TV's not really quite clear because I'm nearsighted. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So let me try out this blue color. I want a blue in the background. And, you know, then I'm just like, well, maybe that's just how it is. I guess that's what it's going to be because they're progressive lenses. You got to get used to it. Maybe it's just going to be blurry, you know? And I paid for like the more expensive ones so that they had more field of vision that's clear and all that stuff. I was going to say something else that wasn't stuff. Oopsie. So anyway, and so then I just, you know, I was like, nah, that can't be right because I don't know. So I covered one of my eyes. Everything's crystal clear, nice. And then I covered my other eye and it was like blurry at distance, which isn't right because my prescription really didn't change at distance. So yeah, so then I was like, well, maybe these are made up wrong, these glasses. I'll just, you know, try a different pair on because I got 2 pairs. You know, buy one, get one free. You got to do it. So try the other pair on. I'm sorry, I'm looking for like a wider brush. And, ew, this one's pretty gross. I am going to put water down and then I'll put in my blue all around here. And, whoopsie, I'll leach some of that pink out. They wrote the prescription wrong. I've had the same prescription for like years and years and years. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's not right. She put a 4 instead of a 5. And if you know anything about glasses, I used to work at optometrist also, so I've been wearing glasses since like I was a teenager. A whole diopter is a big deal. So, yeah. So I called them, hey, you know, I'm like, I wish I would have tested them when I was there. So when you get your glasses, guys, cover one eye, cover the other just in case, because together it looks okay, right? Because both your eyes are working together. But yeah, clearly it was wrong. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, where's my diopter? Because they're called diopters, the larger. Anyway, who cares? Yeah, no. And I used to always, like I said, throughout college, work at with optometrists. And like private ones, not like this, you know, like Eyeglass World, like where I got my glasses, basically. And then later I'll order some on Warby Parker or whatever. But, oh, that's very blue. If you want less, put more water, suck some up. I hate to use this towel because I know I've used this on other things and it'll leave other colors behind. But, so yes, that was fun. Also, my husband's like, he went to get his glasses. He had RK surgery. Oh, it was not RK. RK surgery, that's the oldest one. He had laser surgery on his eyes a long time ago. And they started slipping, so he was picking out glasses. And I'm like, no, I don't know. He's like, why are you so... I'm like, just listen to me. Because I know the little tricks that they do to upsell. And, you know, frames are literally $10, $15, $20 at cost. And they sell them for $200, you know. Which is a rip. I know. It's ridiculous. Lenses, too, are really cheap. But... So that's why, those places like buy one, get one free, I'm like, okay, they're a little closer to the cost, what the actual cost is. But if you go to a eye doctor, they're going to charge you 300, 400, 500% markup easily. Let me dry this for a minute and I'll be right back. I don't know why I went off on tangent. Oh, so they kept my glasses, so I had to redo them. And I was like, no, because I got like the good life. You know, I got to see how easy it is to see now. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. So I'm really excited to get them because now I know, hey, they work out really well. So a lot of what's happening here is because I'm just kind of like, ooh, guessing. All right. I'm going to dry this and I'll be right back. You know, guys, after I did this, I realized, I'm going to cut this out. So I'm not going to cut it out. What I'll do is I'll find a die. Hopefully that's this big. If I don't, what I'll try and do, let me see how much of this is actually going to be on here. Yeah, I mean, it cuts right on the edge. So none of that's really going to be showing. So I will find a couple of dies that hopefully are big enough to nest a couple times around this, and I'll be right back. This might be totally weird. I was looking for larger dies, and I have other Anagriffin card making compendiums. Oh, a slimline die, but I'm gonna use this one, and this is from the Square card making compendium. But I do want to have another one that's bigger in black, so I'm gonna cut this one out. It's right on the line. It might even be a little bit off, but that's what I want to do. So it's right on the line. I'm gonna make sure it cuts right there. I'm going to tape this down where I think maybe down this way. And I'm going to run it through and I'll be right back. Sure, that looks pretty. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to cut out the next size up in black paper. And then we'll have that. And then that means I need to cut a card base that is big enough for this guy. Again, the card making compendium has one for it, but I'll probably just cut paper down because it's easy enough to just cut paper down. I'll be right back. So I have my layers here. What's interesting is this is the largest layer of this die of that shape. And then this outer one is a 5 3/4 inch square card is what it's going to make. I know there's another one here that's a little bit smaller, so that's probably better. But these are the larger sizes. And this I cut at 5 1/2 inch, so that way I can get it from an 8 1/2 by 11 inch piece of paper right your standard A2. Otherwise I'd have to cut that out of a 12 inch piece of paper. So this is 5 1/2 and then by 11, right? So just cut at 5 1/2. Scored, and look how much room is still around there. So I can imagine another 1/4 inch, it's going to have a lot of space around it. So just something I noticed and passed along there. Sorry, I went off on a tangent about glasses. Maybe you're an optometrist and you say, hey, that's not true anymore. This was 20 years ago, so mind you, I'm sure the numbers have changed, but yeah, when you go to a place when they have 2 pairs of glasses for $78 for single vision, I'm all about it. And I want to say the progressive lenses that I got were really good. So, you know, just because the place is inexpensive, I would say don't be afraid of it. But that's just me. Of course, you start adding a bunch of other stuff, and then the progressive lenses do cost more. So they did cost more. But I got one set free. So it was well worth it to me. I was like, wow, that's good. Usually I'm a 2 for $78 gal. And now that I'm older, gotta go for the 2 for several hundred. All right, let's see here. Ooh. Ugh, glue has been doing this to me because I left it open and then it's also running out. You know what? Let's just switch it out. Let's just be done with that. Oh, I do want to mention, and I keep forgetting because I didn't notice. Oh, I wonder if it's still there. The weekend bundles. Tonic has 3 sets of the Nubo glue, I think for like $12. It's a bundle of 3. So if it's not sold out, definitely the time to get it. I was like, yes. Because usually it's like they do 2 for $8 or something. So it's nice to get 3 at a time. All right, I'm gonna glue that down. And I'm just gonna glue it down flat to this too. So when I come back, this will be nice and set up, and then I'll stick it to my card base. Yeah, I'm not gonna glue it just yet. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and do my sentiment. Let me find a scrap of paper. This one's too good. All right. So let's do, I know it's so pretty to do all these other ones, but I think I'm just gonna do good luck. What's kind of a bummer is I wish that this had 2 layers to cut it out, but it does not. So I'm gonna stamp this first, I guess. And then I'll stamp the good luck part. See what happens. What am I versifying? That's what I want to use. A lot of times I'll stamp with Memento because I'm like, oh, I want it to be crisp, but it's versifying that gives you the crisper kind of, when you're doing words. Looks really nice. Ooh, lovely. Memento does stamp nicely too. It's just whenever you want that crisp look, you got that versifying, but you also have to wait for it to dry because it will, it doesn't take too long to dry, but it will smear. So, ooh, let me see. I was saying, wish me luck here. Good luck, it says. And I think that's good. Oh, it's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I might redo it because that is probably going to make me feel a little bit not so happy about it. So I'll be right back. Okay, that was better. Actually, what happened is the stamp itself was a little bit crooked when I stuck it on here. So all I did was go like this and then give it a little nudge to bring it up to level. And there it is. All right. I am going to cut that out. And I didn't stick it down quite, even though I said I would, because I'm thinking I need to add like a ribbon or something. Something else. We'll see. But I'm going to eyeball this and tape that down and run it through, and I'll be right back. Into my year of craft, and I see that we have these colors. I thought there'd be some organza ribbon in there, but I don't see it. Maybe I'm missing it. I hate to go so matchy with the background, but let's see if this will work. That might be okay, huh? So I'm going to try to fashion some kind of bow. Not like this. I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I like to. If I had the bow there, and then the good luck somehow. Okay. What I like to do is make like a bunny ears bow, and then make it so that I don't actually have to use the whole piece, right? So we're just going to fake it and look like it's tied around. So I'm just going to mess with this for a little bit, but basically I do this kind of thing And then we just go from there. And I mess with it, and I mess with it, and I mess with it until I think it's looking good enough. And mess with it, and mess with it, and mess with it even more and more. And we'll see where we're at. Sorry if you hear spoons, my son's eating yogurt. But clicking everything. Anyway, I'll be right back. I kind of just like a little bow. So I just worked on it and made it into a cute little bow. And we'll stick down here somehow. Again, you can put this across too and still put your bow and make it look like the bow came off the root. However, you know, there's lots of different things we can do with that. I'm just going to go with the bow. I just didn't want this to get super lost because it's just very kind of small. Doesn't have a second layer. And I'm just going to singe the ends of the bow so it doesn't unravel and look unsightly. This is the part that's tricky because I do want to use, you know what? Maybe I won't use that. I was going to use dimensional adhesive, but you know it's probably better if I use this. That way it doesn't get squished when I go to do the next thing. And this is a really kind of high dimensional. I don't know if you can see that. So I want that. Wait, before I take these backs off, let me see where it is that I want to put it. And I haven't even stuck this thing down. Because I was going to put the ribbon back there. Good luck. I feel like it needs to be like here, right? Something like that. You know, I didn't even notice that these little clippies are like the same as this. Maybe subconsciously, right? You see it and then you're like, oh, and then your brain thinks that you should grab that. I don't know. Something like that. Okay, let me stick this down and then I'll be right back. I think I'm almost there. It just needs to be a little more artsy since we're doing other stuff, and there's a cute one to do like backgrounds, I think, but all I'm going to do is just take the word Carnation and stamp it up the side right here, I think. Again, scary. This is our final product, but why not? All right. And then some of these little background ones you can even just kind of stamp or however without coloring them in, just like shadows or like ghosted. That'd be really cool. And I'm just going for it. Ooh, I like it. That just adds a little something, you know. All right, so let's pop this on here, and then I'll put my little bow. Yeah, I think I like that better. Just a little something else. Make it look more like those cool images that people drew back in the day, or people still do, I guess. Let's see here. Good luck. And then this I am going to stick down with some dimensional, just so that it holds onto it. Or, you know, hot glue will work just as well, and it will dry very quickly. This I'm going to have to squeeze on here, and then just get my little bow. On there. Something like that. All right, well, that's what I came up with. Hopefully you guys like it. And, you know, it gives you some, what's the word? I don't want to say gumption. What's the word? Encouragement to try it. Like, I'm always afraid of things like this, especially with watercolor. So, and then wet on wet and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's fun. Just try it. The point of watercolor is for it to look like just super organic. And if it happens, you know, it moves, put more water and take it back off with a towel or a napkin or however. There's lots of ways you can get around it, but practice is what helps us. So I'm sure in a few years after I've been doing this more and more, I'll say, oh, that looked ridiculous. But, you know, I tried and I had to start somewhere. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're having a great day. I'll have the links in the description box again for some of these things. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.